What's going on, Jerome? So one of the major decisions the Minnesota Vikings had to make this offseason was the releasing of team captain, Minnesota born and bred Detroit Lakes, go crazy, as well as Mankato State University Community College alum Adam Jerome Ezekiel Thielen. The dude should have a movie made about his life and career. The former, he was going to be a dental equipment salesman. Pretty sure it was $500 scholarship for the Mavericks, all that stuff. 2013 UDFA, working his way up and all that stuff. And the Vikings had to make a decision of what they were going to do with Thielen this offseason. But Thielen last year, it was a little bit rough. Even though he got 107 targets, and it was very underlying complaining about his usage last year, but it was what it was, and he was due a $13.5 million dead cap in 2023. He was going to be 33 this August, and for the Vikings, the last couple years, production simply had not been there. His last 100-yard game was back in October 2021 in purple, and in terms of yards after catch, yards per route run, contested catch rate, they were all towards the bottom of qualifying receivers last year, and just wasn't good. And the contract, Thielen was due $11.8 million salary, and the Vikings had to make a decision very early before it guaranteed, and the Vikings did decide to part ways with the pride of Detroit Lakes. And it hurts, especially you get attached to these players, especially guys that have a phenomenal story. Hashtag one of us, a fellow Minnesotan and all that stuff. And there was a lot of second guessing and questioning of Kwesi at the time, even after the Vikings did draft Jordan Addison and parting ways with a Vikings legend. And the question was, how much did he have left in the tank? And he did sign with the Carolina Panthers, and it was a rather sizable contract. It was a 3-year deal, $25 million, eight and a third million per season, and a big chunk of it was guaranteed. So Thielen got himself a mini bag, but the Vikings, there were some question marks, especially after Adam Jerome Ezekiel Thielen is ripping the cover off the ball over the last 4 games. He's had multiple 100-yard games. He's got 4 touchdowns on the season. He did some work against the Vikings, converting a number of third downs. And Thielen, even though the Panthers are 0-6, even though there is a lot of garbage time to be had there, it's clear that he does have a rapport with Bryce Young, and also a game with Andy Dalton where he went 11 for $145 and a touchdown against Seattle week 3. But it just sort of is what it is. And there is a lot of second guessing because of Justin Jefferson going on injured reserve. Obviously, the Vikings couldn't have foreseen that. And would Thielen have made a bit of a difference if he was still on the roster and the Vikings de facto wide receiver 1 at this point? I mean, it's possible. I do think that it's possible, but I mean, it just sort of is what it is. And I think what it comes down to is the Vikings and Adam Thielen, they both made a business decision. The Vikings decided to move on from a player who may still have something left in the tank a year too early versus a year too late. And Thielen, Thielen could have taken a significant pay cut just like Harrison Smith did and remained in purple and closed out his storybook career with a couple of seasons more with the Vikings. But he wanted to get the bag. And he did do that. Getting a decent multi-year contract in free agency. Carolina's got good weather and got good golfing, as well as he's clearly the wide receiver 1 in Carolina. So even though they're 0-6 and probably aren't going to be contending anytime soon, he's getting his numbers, he's padding some stats, and he's getting his money. And again, I respect the business decision, and I know that fans always want loyalty, but it does swing both ways. So could Thielen have taken a little bit less to stay here with the Vikings and probably be wide receiver 3 or 4, especially with the drafting of Jordan Addison? Sure, but I don't necessarily fault him for getting the mini bag and just putting up some Lulu stats this season, which is his prerogative, and also is the Vikings' prerogative to move on and get some salary cap savings and turn the page a little bit. And I understand, the numbers that Thielen are putting up right now, would the Vikings have benefited from having him in the red zone? Sure. But also, it is a balance. And like we said, it's better to move on from a player a year too early versus a year too late. Look how Dalvin is operating with the Jets. Look at how Patrick Peterson is operating with the Steelers. Look at how, I don't know, who else? Diesel Dalvin? He's doing fine, but he's getting paid $14 million a year. Kendricks doesn't quite have it anymore. And even though, yes, it would have been nice to throw Adam Thielen into this mix right now, especially given the existing chemistry between he and Kirk Cousins, but, It happens. It happens, man. And I do trust, KJ and Addison to rise up in the absence of JJ. We definitely need Hockenson to frickin' step up as well. And here's the thing, too. Like, would Adam Thielen be putting up these direct numbers if he was in the Vikings offense? Possibly not. First off, he wouldn't be wide receiver 1 if and when Justin Jefferson was healthy. And even if JJ was out and Thielen was still here, I don't think he would be getting this volume of targets, because you do have TJ, you do have Addison, you do have KJ. So I think that it's incongruous as being like and too simplistic to say, like, hey, if Thielen was here, this is what he would be doing. We know that he's capable of this. Especially with the Panthers in catch-up mode consistently in their games. They got to put up those numbers. So, again, props to Thielen. Made a business decision. Got himself a little bit of cash and putting up some numbers. And props to the Vikings for clearing up some cap space and turning the page to the future with Jordan Addison. And now he's getting some valuable experience as the Vikings wide receiver 1. But your thoughts are thoughts. Did the Vikings make a mistake in letting go Adam Thielen? Nah. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.